All right, friends, last video for Mod 7, inequalities, but specifically two-step inequalities. So remember, we know that an inequality is similar to an equation, but rather than having only one solution, it has an entire set of solutions, starting at a specific number that it is either equal to or not equal to, and then greater than that or less than that. So we have our steps. And they're similar to when it's a one step. There's just one more difference. So we need to apply inverse operations in order to isolate the variable. Whatever we do to one side, we have to do it to the other. Both sides, keep it true. We reverse the inequality only when we multiply or divide by a negative number. All right? And the last part that's really important is when we're solving a two-step inequality. Sorry, I'm pulling up a pen. We're doing the opposite of PEMDAS, okay? And I'm going to even write that out to try to help with that. So PEMDAS, my parentheses, exponent, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. I'm starting from the bottom, going up. So I will do addition and subtraction before multiplication and division, right? Because they're grouped together. And that's just because we're undoing the problem. We are applying inverse operations throughout the whole thing, and that applies to the order of operations. All right? Okay, I've got this first one. I'm going to solve it and graph it. Just that way I am practicing another skill. We're getting that reinforcement. So I'm going to start by putting my line through. Ooh, I won't need that much room, but that's okay. I want to identify the operations that are happening. That way I know what inverse operations to apply. So 3b, that's multiplication, and subtract 12, or that negative 12 there, that's just subtraction. Whoop. So I've got multiplication and subtraction. And then remember from up here, I actually start with addition and subtraction first, then I'll get into the multiplication and division. So I need to do the inverse of subtracting 12. Sorry, I keep trying to move not too much, but it's not going the way I want. So I'm doing the inverse of subtracting 12. So I'm adding 12 to both sides in order to keep it true. When I have negative 12 and I add 12, that makes 0, okay? So since that's gone, I'm not going to write 0 below it. I don't need to do that. But I'm going to bring 3b down. That way I'm continuing this problem. And now my inequality. Did I do anything to reverse the inequality? Well, it only reverse when I multiply or divide by a negative. I didn't even multiply or divide, so it stays the same. Negative 27 plus 12. So that's like if I was at negative 27 on the number line, I'm adding 12, so I go towards the positives. Those numbers are getting bigger. And it's kind of like subtraction of the absolute values. So I don't have enough moves to push me all the way over, so I'm going to stay in the negative. And 27 subtract 12 is 15. So negative 15. Okay. All right. So now I have 3b is greater than negative 15. Well, that's multiplication, so the inverse is division. I'm going to use fraction bars to show that. And I divide by the exact same number there. So I'm dividing by 3, dividing by 3. So, and I showed you this with the other one last time, but when I have 3 divided by 3, that makes 1. And since it's a 1, now I've isolated b. b is all by itself. I have 1b left, which is exactly what I wanted. I'm dividing by a positive number, so this inequality symbol will not flip. And a negative divided by a positive is negative. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So the last thing I have to do here is graph it. Yeah, negative 4 over here. Negative 6. Okay, so it's b is greater than, and if I remember my steps, That means it's not included, so it's an open circle, and greater than -5 is -4, -3, -2, -1, all the positive numbers. All right, so I solved it and I graphed it. One more problem, friends. I cannot get there we go. I was like, I cannot get it to just be at like a nice place. Let's do this fun aqua-y color. I love it. All right, but I'm gonna put my line through the inequality symbol because it just helps organize my thoughts. I'm looking here, ooh, this one's in a different order, but it says 15 minus 4b. And this one can get tricky. So sometimes I like to take my hand, it's hard to show it on a computer, and cover up some of the numbers. So like if I put my hand over this 15, I only see negative 4b. So this here is still multiplication, and it's multiplication by a negative number. And then this 15, we always want to say it's subtraction because we see the subtraction sign behind it, but it's a positive 15, and if I put a 0 in front of it, it'd be like 0 plus 15. So this 15 actually represents addition, and I'll also remind you why that is when we do the inverse. Okay, now I'm ready to go. I need to start with addition before multiplication. So the inverse of addition is subtraction. So even though I'm applying these inverse operations, I'm also making ones and zeros. And 15, subtract 15 is 0. If I had made it 15 plus 15, it wouldn't have been 0, it'd be 30, and I wouldn't be isolating my variable. All right, so now I bring down that negative 4b. A lot of you are going to try to drop it. Don't. I didn't multiply or divide, so I'm not even going to talk about flipping it. And -1, subtract 15, I go further into the negative, -16. Now I divide by a -4, the exact same number that's there. B, I divided by a negative, so it's got to flip. Negative divided by a negative is a positive. 16 divided by 4 is 4. All right, I got my answer. Now I'm going to graph it. Okay, I've got positive 4 here. Oh, that means 5 would be there. 6 would be there. Oh, it's a closed circle because it's got that part. The equal to, that means 4 is included. I always want to fill in these circles so perfectly, and it's just not even possible. Also, I just made it too large to attempt that. Okay, it says B is less than now instead of greater than. So oh, my number line, I did it like it was a negative. Gotta be careful, you can make mistakes like me. 5 goes here and 6 goes here. But honestly, thinking through where I was gonna point it, that's why I noticed. Okay, so B is less than 4, numbers less than 4. Wow, what is going on with me? Neither of these, that was still wrong. 5, and that's a 3. Okay, but again, thinking through which way it was gonna point really helped me because I noticed again it was wrong. So numbers less than 4 are 3, 2, 1, all the negative numbers. I hope you enjoyed how many mistakes I just made with that number line. All right, friends, thank you for watching, and let me know if you have any questions. Bye-bye.